Well, it's obviously frustrating to come back in here, and you know, after we keep putting ourselves in position to win games, and we're not stringing things together to finish it, and that's our job as coaches. We've got to get our guys to do a better job of executing, making things clear for our guys, so they can just go out and play and be able to execute in those key moments. Our guys want to win. We want to win for them, or we want it for them. I will say this: they're playing extremely hard. They're giving great effort, and that's encouraging. They're giving us everything they got. And as I said earlier, we keep putting ourselves in position to win, and now we got to take steps into finding ways to finish it and to come away with those wins. And that's on us as coaches. But the only thing we can do is keep our head down and go back to work. I'm looking forward to the great challenge this week of playing a very talented Auburn team coming to town. Excited to get back home in front of our fans. Hog walk in the morning. We've got a lot of recruits on campus. It's going to be great to get back home. I do appreciate our fans that traveled to Kentucky. And I know they're as frustrated as with the outcome as we are. But we're not going to flinch, and we're going to put our head down, and we're going to go back to work. And with that, I'll open up.
Raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you for questions.
Coach, with so many close losses that you guys have had, do you start maybe exploring being more aggressive? Like maybe I take you back to the halftime, maybe trying to go down the field there, or I don't know, other things that are a little more aggressive?
Well, I think you go and you look at every option. You know, we keep putting ourselves in position to win a game, and then you look back at the small details that led to that. And obviously, right before half with 55 seconds, and they had all 3 timeouts, we had 2, and you know, my thought process really was to get a first down, and then to keep and use our timeouts and see if we couldn't get a big play. When we got to 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, with them all 3 timeouts, I literally was waiting to see if he was going to call timeout and force us to play our 3rd down play or possibly punt the ball back to him with them just scoring off of a drive. So yeah, looking back on it, you know, sure you wish you would have maybe done a few things different right there, but I thought at that point with the momentum on their side, I was content with 3rd and 3 to get to half. But yeah, you go back and look, there's several opportunities. We had 2 drives in the second half where we're 2nd and 1 and we couldn't convert. And you know, that's an offensive down, and we got to be able to convert 2nd and 1s. And whether that's being more aggressive, being better in some run fits, whatever it may be, that's on us as coaches to get fixed.
Yeah, Chad, you said after the game, you know, the other night that you're going to reopen or reevaluate the quarterback situation. How do you divide the snaps this week with, I guess, the first and second team? And how tough is it to sort of have a competition when you're also obviously in a game week mode for Auburn?
Well, you know, Nick and Ben will get the 1 reps, and they were in here last night, and everybody was ready to get back to work last night, which was very encouraging. And so with those guys getting a share of the 1 reps this week, you know, I think the whole thing is just, you know, consistency as a team, consistency as an offense, and that's really kind of what we're looking for in this. And you know, it is, you know, Bob, I mean, we're trying to stay out of this, but this is just kind of where we're at right now with it.
When you look at not finishing the games when you've gotten that close, what are the ingredients that are missing? What's going to put you over the top on these?
Well, and that's our job as coaches to go back and figure out, is it, you know, you're 20 yards away from winning the last 2 games, and you've put yourself in position to win there at the end, to win the majority of our games this season, all but 1 right there on that last drive. And whether it's a stop here, whether it's a conversion here, you know, putting ourselves in position. Are we in the right play call? Do we have the right check? Are we doing too much? Are we not doing enough? You know, and that's really kind of what it comes down to. And we've got to be able to find a way to get the ball in the end zone. And we're putting ourselves in that position. Now we got to finish the deal, and we haven't done that.
When you looked at Nick's performance, it looked like he was throwing behind on some of the slants. Was there something mechanical going on? What have you figured out from What made him have an off game?
You know, I don't. You know, he got hit early, but again, that's your quarterback. You understand those things. That has never rattled Nick. Nick's got an incredible arm, and you know he's got a great talent. Was his hips not open enough? I mean, we look at all the technical things from a quarterback standpoint, but you know, at the same sense, sometimes you got to sit in that pocket, and he did sit in the pocket and deliver the ball, and I mean, there was he'll be the first to admit he wasn't on, and but I've watched him in person be on many times in those same plays and hit him in stride, and so you know those are things he'll work through, he'll battle through, we'll help him through, and he'll be just fine.
Chad, heard about McClure, I guess, deciding to transfer. Did he come and talk to you, or kind of how that all play out? Just what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I spoke with him yesterday afternoon, and then again late last night, and I think we all know his family situation with his son, and you know, it was as he shared with me that, Coach, I want to step away from football. And you know, I'm going to focus on my academics and focusing on getting a job to help support my family, and so at that point, that was the way we left it at that time.
With Traylon Burks seeming to emerge every time he touches the ball, and he was kind of a do-it-all player at Warren, how far off, with him being a young player, might he be from being maybe a guy you line up in the backfield, more of a do-it-all player here? Well,
you know, it kind of goes back to what we were saying. We as coaches got to do a great job of making things clear for our players, and you know, he's extremely talented, and obviously when you get the ball in his hands, he's electric, and one of the things as a coach that we have to be really careful of is to understand that he's just a freshman, and not to overload him, and I think that we can add more to him, but we can't overload him. You know, we're still working on getting aligned correctly on and off the line of scrimmage, and we've taken great steps in that direction. But I do believe that, yes, there are different ways that we can, as coaches, find ways to get him the ball. Absolutely. Without overloading him.
So you got Colton listed as a starting left tackle. Do you anticipate him being back this week? And I guess when a guy's missed, you know, 2 games in different parts of the season for concussion protocol, how big a concern is that? Because obviously that's a little different than an ankle or a, you know, wrist or whatever.
Well, you know, the health and well-being of all our players is extremely important, and you know, he was out there yesterday in practice last night. I anticipate him playing this week and being a part of our rotation, so I'm back into that starting rotation. But it was something that's been carrying on for a few weeks with him, and we wanted to make sure he's back fully healthy before he's ready to go.
Chad, maybe a catch-22 situation, but your DBs played a bunch in that game, and it maybe if you can rest them during a game, you sacrifice something, but do you feel like they wore down a little bit and that played a role in the fourth quarter?
Well, you know, I've challenged our coaches, I've challenged our team that we've got to create depth, we got to play more guys. We spent a lot of time in the open week doing that, and do I think that had anything to do with us wearing down late in the fourth quarter? I think that there was a lot of factors that are involved there. I think that, you know, anytime your defense is on the field for 37 minutes, it's hard. And when we needed to make and of that, what, 11 minutes of that was in the third quarter. And when we needed to make a stop, we were unable to find a way to make that stop. And so, was it one certain position group that was you know, out of position? No, it wasn't. You know, we had one miscommunication call, and it cost us. It was a bust, and it was on the touchdown that allowed them to go ahead. And that, you know, again, there's no excuse in that, but you know, we had boundary pressure called and brought it from the wrong side, and when that happens, you know, the ball somehow finds it, and that's when he escaped out of the right side. It wasn't a lack of being worn down that had anything to do with that. It was we were just misaligned right there.
Hey, Chad, yeah, Rakeem was saying his shoulder obviously was hurting him, but there was no way he's going to miss, this upcoming game. Kind of, how's he doing? How would you assess his toughness level, I guess? And what's the update on Chase Hayden? Because I guess he hadn't played the last couple games.
Chase actually started working out last week, back out there with us last week, and was out there yesterday, so we'll continue to monitor him and evaluate him and see where he is. With Rakeem, I think he's playing as well as anybody. He's running the ball as effective as anybody in the conference. I think his toughness level speaks for itself, especially playing through an injury that he had last year. A young man that is like all our players. They want it really bad, and they're giving great effort, and they deserve it. Our message is we got to keep playing hard and keep playing tough, and Rakeem is showing that, and he's doing that, and he'll be, we anticipate him being fine this week and back out there. So.
Coach, with the way things have gone this season, sometimes teams have a tendency to splinter a little bit. What's your message to them? How do you keep them to kind of hunker down and keep at it?
Well, you share with them, first of all, that you hurt with them, you hurt for them. We put in an enormous amount of time. 353 days a year are to prepare for 12 opportunities. And, so the time commitment that these players, these coaches put in is enormous. And you hurt with them. You hurt for them. But as I shared with them in the locker room it's going to turn. It's turned in the previous places that I've been a part of. It's difficult being stuck in a corner. It's not fun at times being stuck in a corner, and the only way to get out is put your head down and keep swinging and keep working, and assuring our players that they'll continue to keep playing hard and giving the effort that they're showing, that we're going to continue. We're going to get out of it. We're going to get out of this corner that we're in, and but it's not easy, and it's not going to be easy, and it's not getting any easier, and but that doesn't mean that we're going to flinch or we're going to back down, because we're not going to do that. These guys haven't done that, and I don't anticipate that happening at all. So our message is we're all in this together. It's not one, it's not a group, it's all of us. And the only thing to do is put your head down and go to work.
Coach, I think I asked you this after the San Jose State game. Is there anything you do differently just with the way that you go about maybe practice or meetings or anything, just change things up? Yeah,
and we have. We've actually changed some of our game day routine just a little bit. Some of the way that we got into the stadium earlier, kind of went out and did some flexing together as a group. Because I felt the last few times we've played a 6:30 kick, it's taken us 2 quarters to really get started. I think that after hearing the feedback from our players, they really liked the fact of getting into that stadium earlier. Changed our meeting times up a little bit. You always look for different things to change a routine when things aren't going like you want. And from a practice standpoint, I think that we've done a great job of trying our best to take care of our guys from a health standpoint, and being as fresh as we possibly can getting to the games. And so, as far as cutting back on any practices or anything like that, we're not going to do that at all. And we've just got to be more deliberate, and we just got to focus on getting better every day.
Yeah, I got 2 things. Jordan Jones, what's the latest on him? And also, Auburn, from a broad standpoint, your thoughts about them, the freshman quarterback who didn't have his greatest performance in their one loss, and then them losing a running back, and just, defensively, how strong they are.
Well, first with Jordan Jones, we're still, kind of seeing where he is as far as his health standpoint. He's struggling running without pain, so I don't anticipate him being back. Auburn, when you look at their team, they got speed all over. Defensively, as good a defensive front as I've seen. I've been able to play against. Dedrick Brown is strong. He's physical. They play extremely hard. They got depth. So, we've got to, they tackle. One of the things that you really notice about these guys is, and I worked with Kevin Steele when we were together for a year, and he's a great ball coach. He's been all around, and his guys play extremely hard, but they tackle well. Offensively, starting Bo, and we knew what Bo was coming out of high school, just a great talented quarterback. He's a freshman, but he's doing a great job of running the offense as Coach Malzahn is asking him to do. He's being effective running the football. They want to run the football. That's what they have always built on. With losing a running back is they've got a couple other guys behind him that are just as talented. Whitlow definitely is a great spark for him, but Cam Martin's another one that's got speed to burn. I mean, these guys got some great speed. They got 7 defensive starters back, and there's 5, 6 offensive starters back. So, coming off an open week, there's going to be a few things I'm sure that we haven't seen, but our guys are looking forward to the opportunity, and you could tell that last night as we came back in here.
A couple things. With KJ, how far away is he from maybe getting into the game, playing, and what's he really need to work on? And then the secondary, those young DBs that you brought in, the talented guys, where are they now, and what do they really need to work on to have trust for you guys to put them out there?
Well, I think when you look at the DBs, that's a position that if you could lose your confidence in a hurry. And so we got to make sure that, as I've challenged our staff, to make sure these guys are prepared, that they're ready to get on the field, and when they do get on the field, they completely understand exactly what we're asking them to do. Because the worst thing we want to do is put a young guy out there, and all of a sudden we lose him because of lack of confidence and don't have confidence in him. So we got to continue to bring those guys along, and that's our job. And your first question was KJ. Yeah, with KJ, extremely talented, has done a great job working on the scout team. He's always in our position meetings, working hard. We'll keep bringing him along and see where we're at with him. And obviously we'd love the opportunity to be able to redshirt him if we could, but we'll keep bringing him along.
Just to clarify earlier about McClure, has he entered the transfer portal like he wants to finish his career somewhere else, or is it just strictly kind of a family, personal decision?
Yeah, from my communication with him, it was I'm stepping away for family purposes. That was my communication with him, or it's what he shared with me. He has not entered the transfer portal, or he hasn't as of me walking down here that I've heard of. Obviously, if he wants to transfer, then we'll help him out in every regard we can.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.